Family is supposed to be our safe space, the place where we feel loved, accepted, and supported. But for many out there, that may not be the case. Instead of feeling safe, they feel anxious, belittled, or even afraid. The hardest part? When it's family, it's difficult to recognize the toxicity. We're taught to believe family always has your best interests at heart, but sometimes it's just not true. If you've ever felt this in your life or feel it even today, stick around. We will find a way out. I want to talk about this today because it's important. If something in your family environment constantly makes you feel small, worthless, or exhausted, you deserve to see it for what it is. Hey fam, Anjana here. Welcome back to my channel. This is a video which is slightly longer than usual, and you can use the timestamps to jump to any specific section. But I would suggest you watch it till the end to make the best use of it. The video has two parts. Chapter 1, Signs of Toxicity in Family, How to Recognize Toxic Behaviors. And Chapter 2, How to Handle It, What Steps you can take to protect yourself. Let's go to Chapter 1, The Signs of Toxicity in Family. Toxicity in families can show up in many ways. Sometimes it's loud and obvious, but most of the times it's subtle and hidden behind concern or tradition or family values. Here are those biggest signs. Number 1, constant criticism. A little constructive feedback is normal, but constant criticism where nothing you do is ever good enough is toxic. You might hear things like, "You'll never succeed at anything. Why can't you be more like your cousin or your sibling? You're always making mistakes." At first, you might brush it off. But over time, this damages your confidence. You start second guessing yourself, even when you're doing well. Healthy families support and guide you. Toxic families tear you down and make you feel incapable. Sign number 2, gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone manipulates you into doubting your own reality. For example, you bring up something hurtful they said, and they say, "I never said that. You're imagining things." You express hurt, and they say, "You're too sensitive." You remember a past event, and they say, "That never happened." With time, you start questioning yourself. You wonder if you're overreacting. But trust me, your feelings are valid. If something hurt you, it hurt you. No one has a right to tell you otherwise. Sign number 3, walking on eggshells. A home should feel comfortable, not like a battlefield. If you constantly feel the need to be careful about what you say or do to avoid an argument, that's a sign of toxicity. You hesitate before speaking, fearing how they will react. You avoid certain topics to keep the peace. You never know what mood they'll be in. It changes from loving to angry instantly. This creates emotional exhaustion because you are always on high alert. You deserve a home where you can breathe freely. Sign number 4, verbal abuse. Words can break a person. If your family constantly insults you, mocks you, or shames you, that's not discipline. It's verbal abuse. Examples would be, "You're such a disappointment. You're too dumb to succeed. Nobody would want to be around you." These words stick with you even years later. A loving family builds you up. A toxic family destroys your self-worth. And obviously, any words that are name-calling, bad cuss words are all part of verbal abuse. And the 5th sign is physical abuse. There are no two sides to this. Physical abuse is never okay. Hitting, slapping, pushing, or throwing things at you is not steps to create discipline. Using violence as a way to control you is not love. Telling you this is for your own good while hurting you is manipulation. If any of this is happening to you, please know this is not your fault, and there are ways to get help. We will talk about that next. Now that we've learned the science, we move to the chapter 2, how to handle a toxic family. We've recognized toxicity. How do we deal with it? Step 1, move away if you can. The best way to protect yourself is to create distance. If you are financially independent, consider moving out. If you're young, start planning your future. Find ways to be self-reliant so you can leave sooner rather than later. One of the hardest parts of leaving is dealing with the emotional reactions of your family. Toxic family members rarely let go easily. They might try to guilt trip you, saying things like, "How can you leave us after everything we've done?" Or you're abandoning your family. Some might even suddenly change their behavior, becoming overly nice or offering things they never did before, just to keep you from leaving. These are manipulative tactics designed to make you stay. But it's important to remind yourself why you made this decision in the first place. You're not responsible for their emotions, and your well-being is more important than their control over you. When you finally move away, the first few weeks may feel strange. You might experience guilt or even nostalgia for certain aspects of home. This is completely normal. But as time passes, you will begin to notice something profound. You can finally breathe. There's no more walking on eggshells, no more sudden explosions of anger, no more feeling small. For the first time, you get to decide how your days look without the weight of toxicity holding you down. Healing takes time, and at first you might struggle with the feelings of self-doubt because toxic families condition you to believe that you're the problem. But as you spend more time in a healthy environment, you will start to see your true worth unshaped by their negativity. And if moving out isn't an option yet, spend less time in toxic spaces. Find safe places outside your home, whether that's a library or a friend's house or just a quiet cafe. Step 2, identify triggers and step away. Notice what situations lead to fights or manipulation. Do arguments happen more during meals when everyone gather? Do certain family members always provoke you and then you react and then the fight takes off? Does it happen when you take up a specific topic of discussion? Once you identify these patterns, you can prepare yourself, or even better, step away before things escalate. Recognizing these triggers is the first step in regaining control over your emotional well-being. Once you become aware of the moments that repeatedly bring you pain, you can consciously step away before they escalate. This doesn't mean running away from every difficult conversation, but rather knowing when it's pointless to engage. Not every battle needs to be fought, especially when the other person is unwilling to change. If a situation begins to feel toxic, choose to walk away. Excuse yourself or disengage. Protecting your peace is not avoidance, it's self-preservation. The more you practice stepping away, the more power you take back over your own emotions, rather than letting them be dictated by someone else's toxic behavior. Step 3. If you're a student, focus on earning independence. If you're a student living in a toxic family environment, one of the most important things you can do is focus on building your independence, especially financial independence. When you rely completely on family for your basic needs, it can feel like you have no escape, no way to distance yourself from negativity. But the truth is, every small step you take towards self-sufficiency is a step toward freedom. Start by exploring opportunities to earn, no matter how small. This could be through part-time jobs, internships, freelancing, tutoring, or even learning skills that can help you make money online. It's not just about the money, it's about gaining a sense of control over your own life. Financial independence means you won't have to tolerate toxicity just because you have nowhere else to go. It gives you options, whether that's moving into a college dorm, renting a shared apartment, or simply knowing that you can cover your own expenses when needed. Beyond finances, invest in your education and personal growth. The stronger your skills, the more opportunities you'll have to build a stable and fulfilling future. Toxic family members may try to discourage you, telling you that you're incapable or that you will always need their support. Don't believe them. The moment you start taking small, consistent steps toward independence, you're already breaking free from their control. Your future is in your hands. And the more you build yourself up today, the easier it will be to step into a life where you no longer have to rely on people who don't respect or support you. Step 4. Keep a strong support system. Toxic families try to isolate you. Don't let them. Toxic family environments thrive on isolation. When you're surrounded by negativity, manipulation, or emotional abuse, it can make you feel like you have no one to turn to. That's why building and maintaining a strong support system is crucial. You don't have to go through this alone. There are people outside of your family who genuinely care about you, who see your worth, and who can offer the emotional stability that a toxic home lacks. This could be friends who uplift you, mentors at your college or school who guide you, teachers who believe in you, or even online communities where people understand your struggles. Surrounding yourself with supportive people serves as a reminder that you are valued, loved, and capable of creating a better life for yourself. If you feel isolated, start by reconnecting with old friends, joining groups or activities that interest you, or seeking out professional support like a counselor or therapist. Even having one or two trusted people to confide in can make a world of difference. Toxic family members might try to convince you that no one else will care about you as they do, but that's just another form of control. The truth is, healthy relationships exist and you deserve to have them. The more you invest in your support system, the stronger you become, and the easier it is to remind yourself that you're not alone in this journey. And finally, step 5, report if it's physical. If the toxicity in your family extends to physical abuse, it is critical to understand that this is not just unhealthy, it is dangerous and unacceptable. No one, regardless of their relationship to you, has the right to harm you physically. It does not matter if they try to justify it as discipline or if they tell you it's for your own good. Violence in any form, hitting, slapping, pushing you, throwing things at you, or any other physical harm is abuse. You do not have to endure it, and you certainly do not have to suffer in silence. If you're experiencing physical abuse, please seek help. There are resources and people who can support you. But the first step is acknowledging that what is happening is not okay. If you are a minor or a dependent, reach out to a trusted teacher, school counselor, a friend's parent, or a mentor who can guide you toward the right support. If you're in immediate danger, do not hesitate to call a helpline or local authorities. Your safety is the priority. In India, you can call Childline 1098 or the National Domestic Violence Helpline 181 for assistance. If you're in another country, look up for your local support services and reach out. Reporting abuse can feel terrifying, especially if you've been conditioned to believe that speaking out will only make things worse. But silence allows the abuse to continue, and you deserve protection, respect, and a life free from fear. If you're not in a position to report right away, document incidents, keep records, and build a safety plan so that when the opportunity comes, you have evidence and a clear course of action. Remember, you're not weak for seeking help. You're strong to choosing to protect yourself. No one should ever have to live in fear in their own home, and there are people who will help you if you reach out. You are not alone, and you do not have to endure this. Understand that all of this is not your fault. One of the hardest truths is to accept that some people, even family, will never change. But one of the most difficult things to accept when coming from a toxic family is that the way you were treated was never your fault. When you grow up in an unhealthy environment filled with criticism, manipulation, neglect, or abuse, you might start believing that you somehow caused it. Maybe you were told that you were too sensitive, too rebellious, or not good enough. Maybe you were blamed for the anger or unhappiness of your parents or siblings. Over time, this conditioning makes you internalize guilt, making you feel responsible for the dysfunction around you. But the truth is, you were never the problem. Toxic family members often project their own insecurities and unresolved traumas onto others, especially those who are younger or more vulnerable. If you were constantly made to feel like you were difficult, a burden, or unworthy, it wasn't because something was wrong with you. It was because the people around you were incapable of providing the love and support you deserved. Healthy families uplift, support, and nurture. Toxic families, on the other hand, break down confidence and create emotional wounds. But the way they treated you says everything about them and nothing about you. Letting go of this misplaced guilt is a process. It takes time to unlearn years of conditioning and to remind yourself that you did not deserve any of the mistreatment you faced. No child deserves to be emotionally or physically harmed. No person should have to walk on eggshells in their own home. You're not responsible for the pain, anger, or dysfunction of others. The only thing you're responsible for now is your own healing. Choosing to move forward, set boundaries, and create a healthier life for yourself is not selfish. It is an act of strength. No matter what you've been told, you're enough, you're worthy, and you deserve peace. I know very well that there is no quick remedy to solving toxicity in family, but we can make our way out of it gradually. However, what we need to hold on to is our self belief, self love, and compassion for ourselves. The world is good. You may feel like this world is ruthless and you will never find love or peace or happiness, but it's not the truth. You feel that way only because of the current predicament of your family, which we may relate to as karma or even a learning phase of our life, of which we will later come out and become extraordinary in the paths we choose. You're loved, you're wanted. Know that and handle this situation with hope and belief. And never hesitate to take help if it's needed. Your feelings are valid and you will be helped. I would suggest that you attend a professional therapy session or take professional help to strengthen yourself to go through this phase of life. You'll find more specific methods to tackle the situation at home from an expert who can understand your personal situation in detail. I'm hoping you will do that. Take care, my friend. May peace be with you.